All right, Jordan, you're getting swamped here, but dominant match, 10-0, hit a bunch of blast doubles. Can you just walk us through it a little bit?
Yeah, it was a good match. I wanted to kind of just wrestle a little bit, and look, he was an opponent I had never faced before, and so I think that always favors me. He did a good job. He was tough, strong, good position, but I was able to catch him on a couple of reshots with my double, so it was a good day.
How tough is it? You did it last year, but how tough is it to come back and get that bronze?
It never gets any easier. I can tell you that. I think I wanted to hear my name being announced right now, and go out and wrestle with Frank. And I think I prepared really. I was really focused this year. I thought I did everything right, and I thought I was really well prepared. But so were my opponents. I think. At this juncture of my career, I feel as though I'm running out of time. And so that can be really scary. It can be really scary, and it's really disappointing because for the last 2 years in a row, almost the same exact scenario, same exact sequence, with the same exact guy on the other side, and it may have cost me 2 world championships effectively. And so to think that the guy that I would have to wrestle in the finals was a guy that I beat 9-2 the last time we competed against each other. It's difficult, but that's what this tournament's all about. The best guys are the guys that can stay focused the longest, that can have the disciplined aggression necessary to get their hand raised through the entirety of the 6 minutes. Unfortunately, I've only been the best guy for 5 minutes and 59 seconds each of the last 2 years against Sidakov, and I'm gonna have to continue to improve. The great thing about today is that I'm sitting into the finals of the Olympic trials next year, and so if nothing else, that's a pretty big advantage. And I know we've got a guy at 79 kilos that's going to win a world championship tomorrow that I'm hopefully be waiting for, healthy and prepared. I think part of why I've made it this far and have been this good for this long is because I've got heart. I've got a big heart. Regardless of the situation, the circumstance, I'm unwavered by what's thrown in front of me. It's not about what happens to you, it's more about how you respond to it. And a lot of people in 2016 called me a quitter. And I think that after watching the amount of devastation and heartbreak that I've taken over the last 2 years and still being able to come back and take 3rd place is a testament to my faith, how good God is, just the people around me, encouraging a core group of people, and it's bittersweet. I always want to win something, right? I don't want to go home empty-handed, but I want to get back on top of the podium, man. It feels like it's been so long. It's been so long, and it's been such a good year for me. I won everything that I competed in this year. I wrestled more purposely. I had a great weight cut, but it doesn't matter. Those things don't matter in the grand scheme of things, and that's one thing that I always realize coming here. And you get what you earn. And today I earned a bronze medal, and it's not what I wanted, but it's gonna look good at home.
You talked about your heart, but I guess we'll throw mental toughness in there as well. Those first 2 matches,
they were crazy.
What's going through your head is, you're down 4 points, I'm thinking both of them, right?
Yeah, I was down 6-2 right away, tight chest lock the first match against the Belarusian, and then the second match against the Hungarian, I was down 4-0. Not what I expected, but I think that's why we train so hard, is so our conditioning can be in a place where we can come back in matches like that. You got to be up 6 to 8 points to beat us, and I don't even know if that's going to save most guys from the deficits that we can dig ourselves out of. So I knew that if I continue to wear on him, I could get him, but he'd score, I'd come back, he'd score some more, I'd come back, he'd score again. I don't think the referees were doing me any favors yesterday with all the white paddles for the consistent dirty effort that he was putting forth. But in the grand scheme of things, I think that those matches are representations of who I am and what I represent. And that's been a cool thing for me, is I've been known for my grit and for my determination, and so when I get a chance to put it on the world showcase like that, I think it's pretty cool for the world to see, because people are like, well, man, how does this guy stay here? I mean, I would like to see, after this tournament's all said and done, all freestyles done, how many guys were world medalists in 2011, and then how many guys were world medalists here at this tournament. But they're very few. It's been 9 years. You know, my world medals are 8 years apart, and hopefully it doesn't stop today. I don't plan on quitting anytime soon.
When you've won as many golds as you have, what's your level of appreciation for what it takes to win a bronze?
Well, I don't really appreciate the medal as much as I appreciate the journey. I'm going to grow from this. I've learned a lot. I'm going to continue to build and develop my character and resiliency. Continue to really just mentally forge myself to where I want to be in preparation for Tokyo. And I think this is cool, right? Going out and winning another world championship would be great, but damn, number 6 it's been really elusive for me. It's been freaking hard to come by, man. It's been really frustrating. It's been really frustrating. I mean, I want it. I don't know when it's gonna come. But I'm gonna keep trying.
Can you talk about the draw as a whole? I think 3 of the 4 guys you competed against yesterday, maybe 4 of 4, were born in Russia and competed in Russia, even if that's not the country that they
I mean, it was
now.
a tough draw. If you look at the guys that all these other guys had to beat on their way to get to where they are now. I mean, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. I think that I wrestled at a lot of ranking tournaments this year in order to secure my spot in a good place in the bracket, and I thought I had the worst draw of the seeded guys. Now, granted, the Georgian had to wrestle Kajiev his first match, but I've tech-falled Kajiev every time I've wrestled. And so it's one of those things that you can't control it, so you just kind of dwell in it, and everyone's able to coexist with the current system. In the past years, it was completely random. David Taylor had the number 2 seed last year, and he had freaking Yazdani his very first match. So I don't know what the future holds or what it's going to entail. I know there's only going to be 16 guys next year at the Olympic Games, and so how the draws fall, are they going to do top 4 seeds? Where guys will fall is going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm curious. What's the score out there? Anyone know?
1-0.
I heard a takedown, 2-0. Okay.
Multitasking better than we are.
So next year you got James Green, your friend and training partner, coming up too. Is that going to make things like weird?
I think there's going to be some houses divided. I think there's going to be a test of communication and friendship. There's going to be a lot of tension in wrestling rooms throughout the country and throughout the world, really. And unfortunately for us, we don't have guys that are going to go and wrestle for Bahrain and, you know, in Hungary and all these foreign Middle Eastern countries that can afford to pay guys to come and live there and train there full time. So our guys are we're going to have to find a way to coexist in the same wrestling rooms, in the same home, the same facilities, being alumni at the same school. And that's going to be really difficult. I'm not looking forward to it. I can tell you one thing, I'm not looking forward to it at all, but I think that we've had a solid enough friendship and a great coaching staff that we are going to learn to make this the best case scenario. How is that possible? I don't know. Hopefully we don't ever end up meeting each other in any of the tournaments. The great thing is I'm in the finals of the trials, and he's going to have to beat a lot of other people before he can get to me. But I think that as things stand now, we understood this, and we knew that it was coming. And now that it's arrived, we will sit down after we take a little break from this tournament, and we'll all come to terms, well, hey, here's how things are going to go. Here's the tournament schedule that we're going to go to. Here's how training's going to look, and may the better man win. And I think that if you leave it at that, we can try to avoid the fiasco that happened in Iowa City back in 2016.
Jordan, how much in the last 24 hours do you replay the last 20 seconds?
Literally every second. I tried to sleep as much as I could last night so I didn't have to think about it. It's one of the more difficult things that I've ever had to experience. It's reliving the same nightmare from last year. And when it happened, I knew I got pushed out. And so, you know, the challenge was to hope, let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And I think that in that moment, I was like, God, I did it again. I freaking did it again. And, you know, with that being said, you just, what can you do? You know, what can you do? I think that I dwelled on it last night, and now I'm in a good place. I've got my bronze medal, I got my bye to the finals of the trials, I got my family, my wife's here, she's healthy. I get to go see my kids in a few days. Like, life's good. Life's good. So regardless of the circumstance, I tried to keep it in perspective. This is just a wrestling match, and I'm still one of the best wrestlers in the world. 2-time world champ, and I've come within 1 second of beating him 2 years in a row. That is, it's tough. It's tough. I think I should be a 7-time world champ right now. But I also have a lot of respect for Sidakov, and I think it makes the rivalry even greater come 2020 in Tokyo. I just hope we're on opposite sides of the bracket next year.
Is there anything you wish you would have done differently in the first 5.5 minutes?
Yeah, shoot more often. He does a really good job of keeping pressure. He's a good hand fighter. Doesn't react to my fakes really often. He's a tremendous athlete. He's a great wrestler, and I want the opportunity to just wrestle with freedom. I think that he's got some things in which he's figured out ways to slow me down, and the key for me is to figure out ways to get back to where I can score and create a consistent effort in which I can get to my leg attacks and really finish on them. And so, yeah, that's the biggest thing. I got to get better. I got to get better, unquestionably. So I'm gonna have to do some things this offseason to get back into a place where I can not only compete with these guys, but I can beat them. I don't want this to happen again, you know? I don't want this to happen again. 2 times is enough. 2 times is enough. I don't want this situation and occurrence to happen again in Tokyo next year. I'm gonna be ready, and I'm gonna take a couple weeks off, eat some pizza, some French toast, a lot of gluten. A lot of gluten. So get a look at these abs right now. When you see me in a couple weeks, they won't look like this. I got about 15 to 20 pounds to put on before I get back to work and spend some time with my family. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Jordan.
Can you tell us a motivation speech for young people?
Yeah, for sure. Keep working.